بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. All right, so it looks like we have, it looks like it's mostly us. We've got one attendee so far, but for the purposes of the recording, I will go ahead and just do a brief introduction, and then we'll go ahead and start the class. Okay. So as you know, those of you who are watching, you probably already know me. My name is Mariam Khan, and I am the founder of the Muslim Educator Academy. And I started this just about a year and a half ago. And the idea was to provide classes. Initially, it was just for me to provide classes to people I know and anyone else who wanted to join using my specific style of instruction, which is to, as you guys are familiar with already, to do a lot of discussion, ask a lot of questions, hear students ask a lot of questions, get really interactive, and really talk about the meaning of things, and not just memorize facts. Because I don't know about you, I went to school and I memorized a lot of facts and I don't remember a lot of them. But the things that had meaning to me and they were meaningful, I remember a lot about those things. So when I came across Sheikh Tom's classes that he does in Ramadan in New Jersey, I saw that the kids in his class were really having a good time. They were discussing a lot of meaningful things, and I thought it would be great to bring him on to teach at the academy. So just a brief introduction. Sheikh Tom Facchine is a convert to Islam. He converted in 2010, and since then he has been studying Islam as well as teaching it to young people. And he currently is doing a bachelor's in Islamic Law at the University of Madinah, as well as studying with other scholars in Medina. Yes, Zaid, a lot of Q&A. Thank you. And he will be joining us to teach some classes, inshallah, starting this summer. And so this session is for you guys to get to know his teaching style a little bit. He's going to be conducting this session with our sample class here. And those of you who would like to join in with any comments or questions who are attendees, you're welcome to raise your hand or submit a question. You see there's a Q&A box there. And without further ado, I will hand it over to Sheikh Tom.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد عليه أفضل الصلاة وأزكى التسليم. That's a very kind introduction. It's a pleasure for me to meet all of you guys. Some of you I've met in the previous class that we did. I have one rule, and since you guys don't know me, I like to mention it up front, and that is that there is absolutely no question that is off topic, or no question that's a bad question, or no question that's taboo. Because asking questions is how you get understanding, and asking questions is how you build your faith. I'm sure you all have heard of Ibn Abbas. He's the cousin of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. He's one of the most famous companions, and he is also one of the most learned companions. He was one of the great scholars of our nation, of our Muslim nation. And people used to come to him, even when he was young, to learn. And when he got older, the companions, they would ask him, they said, "How did you learn so much?" And his main response was, "Because I ask questions." So I am all about asking questions. And if you have any questions at all, on topic, off topic, controversial, simple, no problem, we'll talk about it. And you can put it in the box if you don't want to use the webcam. So today, we are here to talk about diseases of the heart and their cure. Before we get into any of that, Zaid, you can send questions through the chat box, or you can just, raise your hand, or even just unclick the mute and just shoot it, and I'll deal with it, no problem. I don't mind interruptions. First question. Oh, by the way, I ask a lot of questions too. I'm going to ask you guys a lot of questions. So I hope you're ready for that. This is not just I want to make sure none of you are just playing on your iPhones or playing video games while I'm talking. And I will call you out and see what your ideas are. And I can tell real easy if you're not paying attention. This is live. Yes, it is. So it's okay. I was just doing introductions. Good. Be prepared for the interrogation. Interrogation, but not inquisition. First question.
I'm sorry, can I interrupt you real quick?
Oh, sure.
I just want to clarify for the people who just joined. I think they might be a little confused. Yes, so the people who are muted, if you see there's a row of videos at the top of the screen, those are the students who are featured as participants today. They're our sample class. So what Sheikh Tom is going to do, he's going to teach the class to them as a sample class. And so they might be unmuting and answering. And so you can kind of see in action how the class is conducted. For everyone else, you're automatically muted. And if you want to ask a question for this live discussion, you can click, there's a button, there's a Q&A button, and you can also, there's a raise hand button. If you click on, you see the participants and attendees, there's a button, you click that to raise your hand, and I can give you permission then to use your mic if you want to use the mic. Otherwise, just type it in the chat box or the Q&A box. All right, and I'll just hand it back over.
Cool, thank you. So first question, what is intelligence? I want to hear your ideas. What is intelligence? Abdullah, go for it.
The ability to make make decisions that are the best for you in this world and for the next.
Okay. I'm just going to repeat it back just so I can meditate on it. The ability to make decisions that are best for you in this world and the next. Okay? Miqdad, shoot it. What's up? What do you think?
Making smart decisions.
Sorry, say it one more time.
Making smart decisions.
Making smart decisions. So you're on Abdullah's madhab.
Yeah.
Okay. Zaid, what do you think? What is intelligence?
I think I need some more time to think about it more.
Okay, no problem. I'll come back to you. I see Unesa. You have your hand up.
To be able to process what's going on and then make a wise decision about it.
Good. So maybe there's some understanding involved to understand and process what's going on and then to make decisions. Okay. Good. Hafsa, go ahead, Hafsa.
Like how you understand things in different ways.
Okay, good. How you understand things. So almost all of your responses so far are either understanding or decision making and some combination of the two. Numair, go for it.
The ability to differentiate between right and wrong.
Oh, to differentiate between right and wrong. Okay, very good. And that covers things like math, you know the right answer from the wrong answer. It covers things like other fields. We'll get into that in a second. Good. Miqdad says smart. Okay. Knowledge is involved in intelligence. That's good. But they're not the same thing, right? There's a difference between knowledge and intelligence. Shakir, do you have anything to add? Go for it. Oh, I need you to turn your mic on. I can't hear you. There you go.
Wisely.
Say that one more time.
Acting wisely.
Acting wisely. So again, making decisions. Okay, so we have understanding, making decisions, and knowledge. Anything else to add? Yeah, Abdullah.
I think that intelligence is different than knowledge because you can have knowledge and you know tons of things, but intelligence is the ability to apply your knowledge and use it. So it's like if you have you have to be able to apply what you know.
Very good. Okay, Unesa and Numair, they say logic and reasoning, and then Hafsa and Salih say you can sometimes be intelligent without knowledge. That's interesting. Can you give me an example of a person that might be intelligent but without knowledge? I can't hear you. Maybe type it in. Okay. Who is, oh, Zaid is raising their hand. Zaid, Zaid has his hand up, but I don't see a microphone icon. Yeah, okay, go ahead, Zaid. There's two Zaids here. One Zaid put his hand up.
That's my Zaid.
Okay.
For some reason, it's double showing me.
Oh, okay, go for it. What's your idea?
So it's about knowing everything that's right, knowing right from wrong, and knowing all the beneficial knowledge.
Okay, so it's not intelligence if it's not beneficial knowledge. Like, say, I know all of the Pokemon and everything about them. You're saying that's not intelligence?
I'm not sure that can save you from hellfire unless you play a card.
It's okay. I'm just trying to tease out what, you know, the consequences of your opinion. That's fine. There's no right or wrong answer. And I'm not going to like trick you guys and say it's like, well, the real answer is this. I want to know what you guys have to say.
No, well, Pokemon won't bring you to Jannah. Or
so, okay, follow-up question. Those are all really good answers, by the way, about what intelligence is. Are there different types of intelligence? Or is intelligence just kind of like one type?
Actually, before you get to that, can I let this audience member speak?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, so go ahead, Famina. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name. I'm going to open your mic, so you can go ahead.
Nashmia.
Oh, Nashmia. Go ahead, Nashmia.
I don't know how to change my name.
Okay, that's fine. Go ahead, Nashmia.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure, the question was, what is intelligence? That was the first question.
Okay. So, intelligence is like, it can be how smart you are or how you evaluate stuff and how you answer stuff and like if you make it, sometimes if you do it reasonably or sometimes it depends on how reasonably you do it. I'm done.
Very good. Thank you very much for that answer. Okay, second question,
sorry,
are there different...
One more.
Oh,
one
sorry.
More audience. Yeah,
oh, the attendees, yeah, there's a second tab there. Yeah, sure, go for it. Dawood has his hand up.
Go ahead, unmute yourself, yeah.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. What I think intelligence is knowing what to do in every situation that you're in.
Okay, knowing what you do or what to do in every situation that you're in. It's very good. I think we got to everybody. Are there different types of intelligence? Is it possible someone could have intelligence of one type and not have intelligence of another type?
Maybe someone could have intelligence like in math, but not in reading or science.
Good example.
Different topics or subjects.
Yep, excellent. Anybody else? Different types of intelligence. So one way we could divide it, if we're going to make like intelligence categories, we could say, okay, by subject, math, social studies, reading, you know, science, biology, chemistry. Are there any other ways to divide or categorize intelligence? Are there different other types?
Beneficial and non-beneficial.
Oh, big one. Give me an example of beneficial intelligence.
Okay, well, knowing how to solve problems between two different people.
Oh, big one. I like that answer. Yeah, 100%. Algebra, Miqdad, is that beneficial or not beneficial? Yes, beneficial. Good. It is beneficial. Actually, algebra is how you solve lots of problems in Islamic law when it comes to inheritance. Who else wants to go for it? Types of knowledge, or intelligence. Any other ideas? I really liked Numair's answer, because we tend to think of intelligence as knowing certain facts. Mind tricks, yeah, that's good. But there's also different types of intelligence that aren't cerebral that don't have to do with knowing academic subjects, like we said, math, arithmetic to the end of it, social studies. But also there's social intelligence, right? There's knowing how to deal with people. There's knowing, for example, if somebody is looking sad, or if somebody is looking disappointed, or if somebody is looking forlorn, or if somebody is looking vulnerable. Yes? So my question to you is, what types of intelligence are most valued in our society? What types of intelligence does everybody want to have? What types of intelligence get paid? What types of intelligence are rewarded? McDad, you took your mic off. You want to say something?
Yeah, math.
Yeah, big time math.
Basically, whatever you learn in school.
Basically, whatever you learn in school. Hafsan Saleh, you've typed in academic 100%. Academic intelligence, being a doctor, that's very specific and very true. Exactly. It's 100% true. These are specific types of intelligence that are very rewarded in our society. They get paid lots of money. Doctors, lawyers, other things like this. They have the most sort of, that's what our society tends to value. Programming, yeah, STEM is huge now, right? Everything, STEM, STEM, STEM. Other types of knowledge or other types of intelligence might be as important, but not as valued, not as rewarded, not as coveted, such as, like Numair said, oh, he's over here, social intelligence, dealing with people, knowing how to pick somebody up when they're sad, knowing how to knowing how to support somebody. My question next is, what kind of intelligence is going to get us into paradise? Is it algebra? Is it STEM? Is it coding? Is it Pokemon? Unesa?
Beneficial intelligence from the Quran and Sunnah.
Say it one more time, sorry.
Beneficial intelligence from the Quran and Sunnah.
Okay, beneficial intelligence from the Quran and Sunnah. What type of intelligence is the Quran and Sunnah teaching us? I guess that's the next question. Abdullah.
The ability to make decisions when we're put in a position that challenges our faith.
Ooh, that's a really nice answer. We might be able to say moral intelligence. Dawood. Yes, let's hear what would you like to say, Dawood?
The type of intelligence that would get us into paradise is like having intelligence on what can get us into paradise, like doing the actions, like knowing what the actions are and what spiritual things that you have to do to get into paradise.
Did you just say the word spiritual?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Could we say spiritual intelligence is what will get us into paradise? Is that fair? Do we agree?
Yes.
I think that makes sense. Spiritual intelligence. So what is spiritual intelligence? Like if someone were to ask you, okay, what is like math or what is academic intelligence? You could tell them, okay, it's math, calculus, algebra, geometry, trigonometry. What is spiritual intelligence? What does it look like? Some of you kind of were answering when you were talking about specific situations. Yeah, Numair.
Using our subconscious knowledge, like the fitrah, which Allah put in us when we were created. Okay.
Siraj's mom says knowing the Quran. Yeah, that's a big one. Knowing the Quran is part of spiritual intelligence, but with a condition. Are there people who know the Quran that don't have spiritual intelligence?
I mean,
yeah, Abdullah.
There are like a lot of like people who are just interested in memorizing the Quran, even though like they're not Muslim or anything.
Bingo. So we can say knowing, but we have to qualify knowing by saying a certain type of knowing, which is the knowing of understanding and applying. And we'll get to that in another second. If it's just knowing like memorizing, then memorizing by itself might not do anything for you. In fact, it might work against you. We'll talk about that in a second. But if we talk about knowing as understanding, yeah, exactly, like translation for someone who doesn't speak Arabic, applying the Quran 100%, these sorts of things are spiritual intelligence. We can talk about how to be sincere. That's spiritual intelligence. A moral dilemma, like if you're in a hard situation, you know that somebody did something wrong, and the teacher or the authority figure is asking you, did you see what happened? It takes moral intelligence to respond to that situation. Nashmiya, do you have a question?
It's not really a question, but there's mental reason. There's mental intelligence.
There is mental intelligence, and mental intelligence can help us with spiritual intelligence because Allah applies to our mental intelligence in the Quran a lot when He wants to get us thinking about how important it is to follow the Quran. Like when Allah says, yes, exactly, very good, knowing the 99 names, knowing who Allah is. Knowing who Allah is spiritual intelligence. Knowing that Allah is the most merciful, that He's the most powerful, that He's the most gracious, that He's the everlasting, the ever-living, the eternal. All of these sorts of things is, yes, very good. Miqdad, understanding the basics of Islam. Spiritual intelligence, like the 5 pillars, 100%. Okay. Next question. Moving on. You guys are fantastic. This is going great. Traditionally, for hundreds of years, when a Muslim wanted to study to be a sheikh or to be a scholar or to be anything, the first thing he studied was spiritual intelligence. Can anybody tell me why? Why doesn't he start with Arabic? Why doesn't he start with the Quran? Why doesn't he start with fiqh, the rules and the regulations? Numair.
Because those are all like tools, but if you don't know how to use the tools and what to use them for, then they're basically useless.
Oh, wow. They're worse than useless. They are worse than useless, Numair. Because I don't know if you guys know, but the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, he told us who are the 3 types of people who are going to be the first ones to go to Jahannam, to go to the fire, hellfire we're talking about. Does anybody know who those types of people are? It's kind of scary. They're not the big bad meanies. I see Hamza. Did you know? Yes, Nashmiya, I think, says hypocrites. Hypocrites are there. Or that wasn't you, Nashmiya, that was somebody else. Sorry.
Lies.
Hamza, what's that?
The king who lies.
Oh, the king who lies, okay. Also, the phony scholar. Shakir, yes.
People who worship idols.
No, even worse than their situation. Even worse than the people who worship idols are the hypocrites, like we're saying. Unesa.
The Hafiz, the scholar, and the Shaheed.
Yes, those are the 3. And in another narration, there's the Mujahid, the person who's fighting, but he's fighting for himself. So there's 2 different narrations, and one of the 3 differs between the narrations. But the Prophet ﷺ said that the 3 types of people that are going to be the first to enter the fire and at the lowest level aren't necessarily the people who worshipped idols, aren't necessarily the pharaohs, the Fir'auns, and the Nimrods, the king at the time of Ibrahim. No, it's the person who said he was a scholar, or people thought he was a scholar, and then Allah is going to interrogate him, and it's going to come out that he was only a scholar to impress the people. He might have learned everything there is to know. He might have memorized the entire Quran. He might have memorized hundreds of thousands of hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. He might have known the entire biography of the Prophet ﷺ. But if he was not sincere, he did not do that for the sake of Allah, but he did it to become famous. He did it to make money. He did it to impress people. Then guess what? Did his intelligence benefit him? Did his knowledge benefit him? No, the opposite. It worked against him. The same with the person who, what was the second category? Yes, the memorizer of the Quran. The person who memorizes Quran, but he doesn't apply it. He doesn't take the time to understand it. It doesn't affect his life. It's just it's like a song to him. That's it. And so he is going to stand before Allah Azza wa Jal one day, and Allah is going to say, why did you do this? And he's going to say, I did it for you, but he's lying. Really, Allah is going to say, no, you did not. You did it so that people would say you're a great hafidh, you're a great memorizer, and you know this and you know that, and look at you. So knowledge doesn't always benefit people. And every type of knowledge doesn't benefit people. Even spiritual knowledge doesn't necessarily benefit us. I should say, like, knowledge of the Quran and knowledge of all of this doesn't benefit anybody if they're not sincere and they don't have the spiritual knowledge first, knowing how to apply it. So, next up, that's very good. Knowledge can be for or against us. But if we have spiritual knowledge, we'll make our other knowledge of the Quran and everything else work for us. The Prophet ﷺ said something that was very interesting. And some people might not think it makes sense. I'm going to see if you think it makes sense or not. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, I have only been sent to perfect character. He said, I have only been sent to perfect character. Do you agree or disagree with that statement, and why? Let me show you what I mean. Yes, Siraj's mom says no. Because we have more than character, don't we? We have laws and rules. You can't do this. You can't do that. You have to do this. You have to pray 5 times a day. You have to give zakat if you have a certain amount of wealth. You have to go to Hajj if you're able to. You have to fast Ramadan. Is that part of character? Memorizing the Quran, is that part of character? Zayd says no. Hamza, what do you say? You say no. Okay, so it wasn't Zayd. Zayd, do you disagree with him?
I do not disagree.
You do not disagree. So you agree with him. You say that stuff doesn't have to do with character, and so the Prophet ﷺ, what? Wasn't telling the truth? Or we didn't understand him correctly? Or what?
I changed my mind.
You changed your mind? Okay, I want to hear from Miqdad. Where'd Miqdad go? Did he leave us? He might have left us for a second. I want to hear from Numair. Is the Prophet ﷺ correct?
I mean, he has to be correct.
Okay, so how is he correct? Dawood has his hand up. Let's go to Dawood real quick, and then I'll get back to Numair.
I think he's correct because, before the Prophet came, everyone, was lost. And everyone was, in Jahiliyyah and stuff, and everyone was lost. And he came to perfect the people there and, basically, put them into shape because they were slacking off before he came.
Okay. Numair, do you have anything to add? He bought you some time.
I mean, he might be talking about a different type of character.
Okay. Maybe. Yeah, go ahead. Or
the definition of character has changed.
Okay.
He's on a different type of character than a different type of character than the one he was talking about.
All right. So I'll ask you, how can what we believe in be part of character? What's the relationship between what we believe in and our character? I'm going right back to you, Numair.
Maybe your spiritual character.
Okay, your spiritual character.
I mean, I guess that builds your character as well.
Huh.
Rules.
Do you mean that I can't build my character in other ways? I can't do yoga or something or meditation and build my character that way?
You could.
Could I? Okay. So then how is belief part of character if I can just do it some other way? Can I go to the church and worship the cross and build my character?
The best way to do it?
Normally, no. Nashmiya says normally, no. We have he perfected character, which leads to being a good Muslim. Okay? Part of being a good Muslim. Is belief part of having good character? Yes, Unesa.
I was gonna add to what Numair was saying.
Yeah.
It builds our character by like accepting the truth.
I'm sorry, say that again.
It builds our character by accepting the truth.
Builds our character by accepting the truth. Okay. Okay, I'll come at it from a different angle. Why do we obey Allah in the first place? Allah gives us all these rules. Pray 5 times a day. Yeah, Shakir.
Because he is the only one and only God you should believe in.
Okay, that's one reason we obey Allah. One reason we obey Allah is because of who Allah is. He's the only one. He's the all-powerful. He controls all this, everything in creation. That's good. Are there any other reasons that we obey Allah other than who Allah is? Hamza. Hamza, go for it.
And go to Jannah and please ourselves.
Oh, boom. Go to Jannah and be in paradise. That is wonderful. Can you be in paradise, or can you get into paradise if you don't have a pure soul, or if your soul isn't pure? Hamza says yes, you can get into paradise if your soul isn't pure. Nashmiya says because we know that Allah deserves gratitude for His generosity. Yes, that's true. Yeah, Hamza, go ahead.
Because if somebody does lots of bad deeds, heart black. Somebody else does lots of good deeds, heart white. The guy who does lots of good deeds says one thing bad about that guy whose heart is black.
Yes.
And all his good deeds are transferred to the bad guy.
Oh, good. That's very good. Shakir, your hand was up. Did you have something to say?
His bad deeds goes to the good guy. I think you can't.
You can't. Okay. Good. To clarify to Hamza, what I'm kind of asking more specifically is that let's take a person with that black heart. Okay. Let's assume someone has a black heart. Can that person get into paradise with that black heart? And Shakir says no, he doesn't think he can. Hamza, what do you think? No. Okay. Mikdad says no. Numair.
He can get into paradise if he believes in La ilaha illallah, but after he goes through hellfire, which will, I guess, take away the bad deeds.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Because think about it, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, no one is going to enter paradise who has an atom's worth of arrogance in their heart. How many people do you think that is on the face of this earth? Shakir.
No one knows.
No one knows, sure, but like, Yani, like,
Hamza. A million.
A million, maybe?
Million.
Wow, mashallah. Shakir.
15 million.
15 million? Wow, mashallah. You guys are hopeful. Because I don't know, I have to confess to you guys, I'm sure somewhere in my heart I have at least an ounce of arrogance. I bet I do. Well, we have a lot of guesses, 99.999%. I can't even read that number, 7.31 billion. Everyone, tons and tons of people. So no, the point I'm trying to get back to, and this is what Numair said. Sorry, he's over here. Almost everyone. Yeah, almost everyone has some arrogance in their heart. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He created paradise as a place for just pure people. That's a lot of numbers, Hafsa and Saleh. So what about the people who aren't pure? Kind of what you guys were saying. there's going to be a process to purify those hearts before they are let into paradise. Okay? Like Hamza was saying, for some people, Allah is going to forgive their bad deeds, wipe them out completely. For other people, they're going to have bad deeds, but then other people oppress them, other people talk bad about them, and so their bad deeds are going to go away because of that. Other people are actually going to enter the fire until they've purified themselves, and those bad parts of their heart and soul are almost burnt up, at which point Allah is going to take those people and remove them out of the fire and place them into paradise. This is something the Prophet ﷺ told us. He said that inna shafa'ati li ahli kaba'ir min ummati. He said, my intercession, basically, I'm going to bat for you guys. I'm going to petition Allah for you guys on the Day of Judgment. For the believers, the people, like Numair said La ilaha illallah. They have faith, but their hearts are black. They've committed so many sins. And so before they get to paradise, they need something. They're not going to get into paradise just like that. Allah is going to give them a process of purification. And there's different types of it. So the question is, yes, Nashmiya, 100% correct. We don't want to get to that point, okay? It's like a security check. Yeah, that exactly. It's like there's a bouncer at the door. He's looking at your heart, and he's saying, wait a second. No, you can't come in yet. Now, we don't want to get to the point where we need to be put in the fire to be purified, right? We want to be purified before that because the fire is terrifying and it's scary. The question then is, how do we purify our hearts and our souls in this life so that we don't have to do it in the next? That's the question. And that's why we're talking about these things. How to purify our soul. What is diseases of the heart and their cure? Diseases of their heart means all of those black stains on your heart. All the things that come and overwhelm you and take over you. The wrong things that you do and the habits that those wrong things build in you. And then their cure is how we're going to deal with them, how we're going to polish that heart again and clean that heart again so that once we die, we won't have to go through that fire. So that Allah will decide to forgive us for the rest of our sins and put us into paradise directly. Miqdad says reading Quran, praying, respecting Allah. Yeah, we're going to get there. Very good. All great things. So the question then is, okay, we're here on this earth. We're only given a certain amount of time, a certain amount of years. Yes, how you take care of your heart. That's the question, Nashmi, 100%. How do we build that spiritual intelligence? How do we purify our heart? How do we do it? You guys said reading Quran, praying, respecting Allah. Yes, Unesa, you got it. Yes, Unesa, very good. That's Numair. So how do you reconcile the two? So Numair says, okay, there's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ says, no one will enter Jannah if they have an atom's weight of arrogance. But everyone has an atom's weight of arrogance. So is everyone going to go to hell for a little bit? The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has been given 7 types of intercession. You guys understand what intercession means? Intercession is like you are asking somebody else to go speak to somebody for you. Allah has given the Prophet ﷺ 7 different types of intercession. Some of those types, one of those types of intercession are interceding for the believers who enter the fire, to take them out of the fire. But there's other types of intercession that are going to come into play that the Prophet ﷺ is going to use so that many believers never have to enter the fire. For example, there's going to that one type of intercession of the Prophet ﷺ is when we have the scales on the day of judgment, and our books of deeds and our deeds are placed in the scales, there are some people that are going to come out even. It means that their good deeds are equal to their bad deeds. One type of the Prophet ﷺ's intercession is that those, 50-50, exactly. One type of the Prophet ﷺ's intercession is that that person is going to go into paradise without having to go into the fire. There's going to be other people on the day of judgment where that scale is out of balance and the good deeds are light and the bad deeds are heavy. Still, the Prophet ﷺ, 51-49, or more, 60-40, 70-30 maybe, it's possible. And the Prophet ﷺ is going to make intercession for that person, and that person's going to enter into paradise without having to go into the fire. That's another type of intercession of the Prophet ﷺ. And then yet another type of intercession of the Prophet ﷺ is for the people that Allah decides do have to enter the fire, but only for a certain time. And then once they've served their sentence or their penalty and they've made good on all the things that they did, Allah is going to take them out of the fire and He's going to dip them in a river in paradise, and then He's going to ask them a question. He's going to ask them, after they've been dipped in the river of paradise and after they've been put into paradise, He's going to ask them, have you ever suffered anything in your life? And their response is going to be, no. That's how amazing paradise is. That the bliss and the happiness that you have in paradise is going to erase everything you've ever suffered, whether in this life or if you've ever been to the fire. Miqdad, wow, that's what I said when I first learned that. Yeah, amazing. How merciful Allah is. If you guys understand, and this isn't the topic of this class, so we have to keep moving, but maybe one I think inshallah we should do a class about everything that happens after you die. Because if you realize every step along the way, Allah is forgiving people and forgiving people and forgiving people who don't even deserve forgiveness, you'll come to the conclusion that Allah really, really loves us and really, really wants the best for us and wants us to be in paradise and is more merciful than anything we can imagine. So, I thought that once you get into Jannah or Jusanam, you stay there. Yes, Nashmiya, you're correct. Once you get into Jannah, meaning paradise, you stay there. There's no leaving paradise once you're in it. However, the fire is not the same. The fire is different. Some people are going to enter the fire, and then they're only going to be there for a little bit. They're going to be taken out. And then other people are going to enter the fire, and they will be there forever. And we ask Allah to protect us from that, because that is very scary. Okay, so moving on. We're talking about, yes, Shakir.
I know exactly what happens after you're buried in the grave.
Oh, mashallah. Okay, should I test you or should we move on?
You could test
Go ahead. Let's hear it.
So once you're buried in the grave,
Okay.
2 angels come to your grave, and you sort of like wake up in the grave, and then one angel comes with a humongous hammer, and the other angel is gonna ask you, did you pray on like whatever day? And if they tell you no, they'll smash you with the humongous hammer. You turn into pieces, and then Allah will give you another body. Over and over again.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're talking about the punishment. Yeah, that's one possibility. There's a lot of stuff. I wish that we could. I wish that we had time to go over it all, but regretfully we don't. But maybe we'll do a class. Everything that happens after you die. There's a lot. You know, if you ever. Anyway, we can't go into it now because it's too much. And I love that subject too, but we got to move on. Thank you, though. Okay. So this work that we have to do, we're talking about, yes, we're talking about purifying our souls in this life, removing the diseases from our heart so that we get to paradise directly without having to get put into the fire first. That's our goal. That's what we want. And we said that what kind of intelligence do we need to get there? We need spiritual intelligence. That's what we said. My next question to you is, does our society around us value this kind of intelligence? Do you get paid if you really know how to go to paradise? Shakir. Oops, you were on and then you turned yourself off.
Maybe if because some people won't believe you or they will believe you.
Okay. Siraj's mom says some. That's true. Some people do. But like in general, society, like is there a spiritual intelligence major in college that like everybody's trying to get into? You know, are the people who are on television shows and in the movie screens, you know, they have this kind of intelligence, the spiritual intelligence that's going to get them into paradise? Not generally, right? So if you look at our highest paid people, and you can tell a society what they value by who they pay the most. Who do we pay the most? We pay sports stars, right? You know, Kevin Durant and Messi and Ronaldo and these guys, right? They make a lot of money. Okay, Nashmi, I'll repeat. Thank you for asking. We were talking before about different types of intelligence, right? Like there's intelligence about school subjects like math, science, these sorts of things. And then there's a certain kind of spiritual intelligence that we all said that's the kind of intelligence that we need to get into paradise, right? And then we're kind of wondering, okay, what type of intelligence do people around us think is more important? Do people around us, and we're not talking about our parents because, you know, like, or our families, we're talking about like the schools and the television and the movies and things like this. Do most people value or think that academic intelligence is more important, or do most people think that spiritual intelligence is more important? And we were kind of saying that, well, most of society generally, they think of academic intelligence as more important. That's important to know because we need spiritual intelligence to get into paradise. So there's kind of a little conflict here. Nobody's going to incentivize you guys. No one's going to push you guys to build your spiritual intelligence, to increase your spiritual intelligence, except for you, yourself, and the people closest to you, like your parents or maybe your siblings. Whoops, Dad's face. He accidentally. Zaid, what's up? You have a question, Zaid? No? Okay.
I have a statement.
Yeah, go for it.
The Prophet ﷺ said that learn whatever beneficial knowledge in this world, that helps you in this world, and also learn the knowledge that will help you in the hereafter. Yeah,
100%. And that kind of addresses something that Nashmiya just typed. Maybe they are equal to each other. And yeah, we can say, I don't know if we can say they're equally to each other, but they're both important. No doubt. No one is saying, you know, drop out of school and stop studying and don't read books and just focus on your spiritual intelligence. No way. Because Allah told us that we have to be responsible for this world too. We have to make money. We have to educate ourselves. We have to do these sorts of things. But in a time and place where a lot of people kind of aren't talking about spiritual intelligence, they're only talking about academic intelligence, they're only talking about how to make money, we kind of have to talk more than we should need to talk about spiritual intelligence so that we kind of come back to balance, right? So, okay. Next question. Is it important that a prophet have spiritual intelligence? And why? Saleh, he's shaking his head yes. Saw you. Hamza's waving something at the camera. By having a good social circle. That's what Nasa said. Shakir, yes, what's your idea?
No, because like they're special people to Allah.
Okay, so they don't need, they're already given it. Miqdad says yes, so they can give the right education to others. Numair, I saw your sister pointing at you.
Yeah, it was him who said it.
You say yes?
He had typed it out, not me.
Oh, okay. Good. I see. Yes, yes, and double yes. That's what Nashmiya says. Has Allah ever chosen a prophet or sent a prophet to anybody that wasn't a good example or that wasn't someone with a pure heart? The answer would be no. And Hafsa and Saleh say they say yes, because they have to give an example. That's 100% right. The prophets all have spiritual intelligence, and lots of it, because they need to teach people. They need to show the example so people can follow them. That's why Allah sent prophets in the first place. Because if Allah wanted to, He could just give you a book. He could just cause a book to descend from the heavens and give it to people and say, okay, follow this book. But He didn't do that. He always sent a human being, a prophet along with you, along with the book. Why? To explain what's in the book and to show you how to apply it. Did the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam have spiritual intelligence? And can you give an example of a moment in which he showed his spiritual intelligence? Yes, Numair.
On the Treaty of Hudaybiyah.
Yeah? Explain. Why?
So everyone else around him was saying, oh, we want to go. And the reason, like, what seemed like he shouldn't have, most people around him would have said, don't accept the treaty, because if you accept it, then we'll have to go back and we'll have to return that the people who are coming running to us. But he followed what Allah said, because he knew that was better for them. And they came back next year and they were successful next year. Right?
Okay, good example. I'm convinced. Anybody else? Examples of the Prophet ﷺ having or demonstrating or showing spiritual intelligence. Abdullah, I haven't heard from you from a while. You're yawning over there. You have anything?
The Prophet, he had to have spiritual intelligence, because that was kind of like just because like someone who had the ability to take the message from Allah that was so strong that it broke like a mountain, then he has to understand what he's taking on, because that's such a huge responsibility. Okay.
Nashmiya says maybe Prophet Yunus because he disobeyed Allah. I'm answering a different question. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Unesa.
The Prophet Muhammad showed spiritual intelligence before Islam when he didn't worship idols.
Oh, that is fantastic. You took the words right out of my mouth. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. I was going to say just what Unesa said. That not only did the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ have spiritual intelligence in order to deliver the message, it's what we call a prerequisite. It's something that he had before. And it's something that Allah helped him to have before. And you're going to see why in a second. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he had a very, very... When did the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ become a prophet? I know we don't normally talk facts, but I'll ask a fact question. Shakir.
When he was 40 years old.
That's right, when he was 40. Okay, what about the 40 years before he was a prophet? Was it just like he was a normal guy? Unesa.
He was the most trusted and honest person in Mecca at that time. And he was
yes, exactly. Zayd says he's a shepherd. That's right, he was a shepherd when he was a boy. Saleh? Oh, I can't hear you, Saleh. Nothing. I see your lips moving, and I don't hear a thing. You can type it out if you like.
Question. Dawood and the attendees.
Dawood, please.
Before he was prophet, everyone knew. Before he before he was a prophet, everyone knew him as a son of man.
Oh, wonderful. Exactly. He was so well known for his good character, for his spiritual intelligence, that they gave him nicknames. Al-Amin, the most trustworthy person. Zaid, what's up?
So, because he was a shepherd, all the prophets were shepherds, and being the shepherd helped him become the prophet because in a shepherd you have to be patient for your sheep, and you have to have, yes?
I was giving you applause.
Okay. Because you were telling me time. So anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, carry sticks. So you have to be patient for your sheep. You also have to be aware and guarding, like just like for your followers, and just like any other stuff that a prophet does, a shepherd also does it. Like the shepherd is like the leader of his ummah, which is the sheep.
MashaAllah. That's beautiful, Zayd. 100%.
I did a class
oh, MashaAllah.
California.
Well, you remembered well. And that's exactly it. That all of the Prophet ﷺ did say that. He said that all of the prophets at one point or another have been shepherds, because shepherds give you a certain training. You get used to having to look after others and being concerned with others' well-being. You stop thinking about the well-being of yourself. He also, ﷺ, he said in another hadith that the people who spend time with sheep versus the people who spend time with camels were different, because the animal kind of rubbed off on them. Because camels, you need to be really tough and kind of like harsh with camels. But sheep you have to be very gentle. And so the Prophet ﷺ said that it's better to be a shepherd of sheep, because it gets you used to being gentle with people, with the flock, and so you need to be gentle with people. Unaysa brings up a very, very good example, that the Prophet ﷺ, before Islam, there was a time when the Quraysh got together to rebuild the Kaaba. They had neglected the Kaaba for a long time, and so when the Prophet ﷺ was 35 years old, the Quraysh decided to bring together a bunch of money and rebuild it. But a problem happened. It came time to put the black stone back into its place, and everybody started arguing. It's almost like there was one last chocolate chip cookie left. And people were they were taking it very personally. I see Shakir's hand, I see Numair's hand. Let me just finish the story real quick. I'm sure you guys know the story. So if you guys just want to finish the story, I understand. So people were starting to get upset and start to even say things and remember old grievances and old sort of dirt that they had on each other. And then, yes, very, very good contribution there. And so they reached the point where one of the elders said, okay, the next person who walks through the door, he's going to decide what to do. And the Arabs at that time, they really liked to settle things by chance, because no one was responsible, right? And so the next person to walk through the door was Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And everybody, because he was known as a trustworthy person, everybody was happy that he was the one who walked through. When he walked through, he was told the problem and he had a solution. He had a solution. He said, bring me a cloak. And he had representatives from each tribe carry a piece of the cloak, and he put the black stone in the middle, and everybody carried the black stone to the Kaaba together, and the Prophet ﷺ put it back in place. This is spiritual intelligence. Shakir.
Oh, I was gonna see the rest of the story.
Oh, I know. I took the words out of your mouth. I'm sure most of you guys know that story. There's other examples of the Prophet ﷺ's life before he was a prophet. We mentioned when he got married to Khadija, and we know why Khadija wanted to marry him, because she had employed him as part of her group of traders, and she got reports back from the people who worked with her, or that worked with him, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, that he was so honest in how he dealt with people. And he never cheated anybody, and he never cut any corners. And if there was something wrong with the things he was selling, he would tell people beforehand, before they bought it. Zaid.
So Khadija sent her most trusted slave to follow Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he noticed that a cloud was walking with him, and when they came back from the huge trip, wow, adventure. So and then he had made more than double the profits. So and then Khadija inquired about marrying him, and then she sent one of her friends to ask Prophet ﷺ's uncle, and then he agreed, and then yeah, we got married. Goodbye. I'm going back.
Very good. Thank you. So there were other things that happened before the Prophet ﷺ became a prophet. Just really quickly, he never worshipped idols. I think Unesa said that. He never drank alcohol. He was never exposed to any sort of lewdness or impropriety. And then when he became a prophet, ﷺ, he demonstrated these things even more. So all of that 40 years was preparation. Allah used it. Yes, just in 1 second, Nashmiya. Allah used that 40 years as proof against the Quraysh. And this all came into a moment when the Prophet ﷺ gathered his family onto Mount As-Safa, and he was told to give them the call, to call them to Islam. And so they're all on this, like, he's on top of the mountain, and there's people, his family in front of him. You guys, I'm sure you know the story. And he asks them, he says, what if I were to tell you that there's an enemy army behind this mountain? What would you say? And they all answer, they say, well, we would believe you because you're the most trustworthy one. We've never known you to lie. We've never known any bad from you. And then the Prophet ﷺ, he had them. He basically got them to confess that they knew he was trustworthy. They knew that they would believe everything he said. So then he said to them, well, I'm here to tell you that Allah has chosen me as a messenger, and I'm here to tell you to worship only Him, only Allah, and to stop worshiping all of your idols. And when he said that to them, then they turned around and they said, no, he's a liar, he's a magician, all these other things. They made up lies against him. So it was proof against them, because they were believing the entire time that this man is trustworthy, this man never says a lie, and they admitted it. And then 1 second later, yeah, exactly, failed the test, Miqdad. 1 second later, say, no, he's a liar, no, we don't believe him, no, we don't trust him. Which proved that they, like Miqdad said, failed the test. This is exactly what happened before Surah Al-Masad was revealed. You guys probably know the story already. Nashmiya, what was the story you wanted to share?
During the recreation of the Kaaba, there was Allah sent a test. Well, not really a test. There was a snake that was getting in the way of their building, and they were all scared of it because they thought it was poisonous. And then they told that to Prophet Muhammad, and Prophet Muhammad told Allah, and Allah sent an eagle to get rid of the snake, and the Muslims, they could carry on, or not the Muslims, well, the people could carry on with making the Kaaba, or recreating the Kaaba.
MashaAllah, thank you for sharing that. That's the first time I've ever heard that. See, I learned things too. Last thing we'll mention, and then we'll wrap it up, inshallah. Yes, we've reached the end of this little intro. This is all just, guys, exploring why spiritual intelligence is important. We're going to have classes on spiritual intelligence, getting into the nuts and bolts of everything later, I think in July, inshallah. So if you're interested in this sort of work, then you can tell your parents to sign up for the class, because we'll be going in detail into these different spiritual diseases, building spiritual intelligence. I see you, Zayd and Hamza, just 1 sec. And going one by one through them and talking about how to deal with them. Last story, and then I'll take what other questions are around, and we'll wrap up. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you guys know the story, it's a famous story. When he made hijrah to Medina with Abu Bakr, the Quraysh, they had a plot, they had a plan. they had appointed or had taken different young men from each tribe, and they were waiting outside the house of the Prophet ﷺ to ambush him and kill him. Now the Prophet ﷺ, he left, and it was a miracle from Allah because he caused the people that were there to ambush him. Allah caused them to not see him leave. And the Prophet ﷺ, in order to trick them, he left someone behind in his bed, who was Zakir?
Ali.
It was Ali. That's right. We know the story. He's covered in the Prophet ﷺ's cloak. Can anybody tell me why the Prophet ﷺ left Ali? Why did he leave him behind while he went to make hijrah? Shakir.
Ali said, "Don't worry, Prophet Muhammad, I will save you. I will sleep in your bed and they can kill me." So when they went to Prophet Muhammad's room that night, they found Ali in their bed. And then they said, "We don't need you." And then they went to find Prophet Muhammad.
Yes, there's another reason though. There's another reason the Prophet ﷺ left Ali behind. If the Prophet ﷺ wanted to, he could have taken a pillow and stuffed it under the blanket and made it look like a body. But he didn't. He left Ali behind. Miqdad.
Ali.
Oh, your voice cut out. Say it again.
Ali was trustworthy.
Okay, yes, he was trustworthy, but he was entrusted to do something very specific. Hamza. You got to unmute yourself.
Bad.
What's that? Say again.
They would have burned down his house or did something bad to it.
Nope. Good guess. Okay, Unesa for the win.
Because the Prophet was trusted with some money and other stuff that he had to give back, and so he left Ali behind to give it back to the people.
MVP. Unesa gets MVP of this class. Okay, so imagine this. The Prophet ﷺ is so trustworthy that he has the valuables of his enemies in his home. I mean to say that imagine the things that you value most. Maybe, I don't know, your PS4, your Xbox, your whatever. The Prophet ﷺ has them in his house that belong to the people that are trying to kill him. Any one of us would have not cared at all what happened to that stuff. Right? We would have maybe even taken it with us out of spite, out of anger, because these people are trying to kill you. But the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he was so honest and so trustworthy, and his character was so pure that he left Ali behind to return every single possession to its rightful owner. That was the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. That's the level that you can reach. Not that we'll ever reach the level of the Prophet ﷺ, but these sorts of things, if we take the time and the attention and we try our best to develop our spiritual intelligence, to deal with our diseases in our heart, and to purify our souls. Why did he have their stuff, Hafsa and Salih? Because he was trustworthy. And sometimes people left town, and sometimes they didn't have doors on their homes. They didn't have locks on their doors that they didn't have. They left their valuables with other people for safekeeping. Just like if you have a pet, you have a cat. If you're going to leave town for a month, you give your cat to somebody to look after. Same sort of thing. That and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Walhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. Does anybody have any questions, comments, interruptions? Hamza.
So can you be arrogant about your religion and how you worship? As he's a Muslim, but I go to all salah. I go to salat and masjid every day. He only does like maghrib. Can we?
Yes, you can be arrogant in everything.
No, are you allowed to?
No, you're not allowed to be arrogant in anything. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, let's say that you're a Muslim and you're a believer, and let's say your neighbor is not a Muslim. You're not allowed to be arrogant to that person. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ said that a person, calm down, Shakir, I'm going to get to you. Because the Prophet ﷺ said somebody might perform the actions of the people of paradise until they're almost at their death. And then at the last minute, they change. And they perform the actions and the beliefs of the people of the hellfire, and they go to hell. And the opposite is true. The Prophet ﷺ said somebody might spend their whole life acting like someone who's destined for the fire. And then at the last minute, they change their ways. They repent. And they start acting like the people of paradise, and Allah puts them in paradise. So you see him today, but you might not see that person tomorrow. You don't know how they're going to die. And you don't know how you're going to die. He might end up better than you. So no, you're not allowed to be arrogant in anything. Miqdad, why? That's a long question, bro. We're going to have like some tea and talk about it one day, because I don't think it's interesting enough for a class, and it's not appropriate for a class, but inshallah, some other time. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you very much for your attention. You guys were great.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum, both teachers.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you everyone for joining us today.
I was kidding about that money part. What money?
What money part?
Oh yeah, you realize you don't have enough money for that, huh? All right, thank you everyone for joining us today. Let's be quiet real quick. I'm gonna mute your mics. So if you appreciate the lesson, keep Brother Tom in your dua, and may Allah reward him. I was really proud of everyone today. I was literally like in tears, like listening to you guys, like so proud of all the amazing things you were saying, and all the contributions. So thank you very much, everyone. And hopefully we'll see you guys again for another class. All right. And I will be sending out the link. Actually, let me post it right now in the chat box. Okay. I'm going to post the link in the chat box for Sheikh Tom's new class. And then you can click on that before you leave. Okay, are you candy behind who? Behind me? That's not candy, that's paint. That's paint. And the thing on top of that I painted. All right, so there's the course listing. So before you exit the Zoom room, just click on the link so it opens it up in a new window. I'll also send it out to you guys. And hopefully you guys will join us for that class. All right? Take care, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Where are you from?
Okay, we can wait on those questions, okay? Maybe you can ask your mom. She might know. All right, take care. Assalamu alaikum. Any other follow-up questions? You guys are welcome to email them, okay?
Okay.
All right, assalamu alaikum.
My mom asked if this will be on the website.
Yes, the recording will be posted. All right. The link is on the website. Yep, go to the website and click on all courses and the link is there. Yep. All right, take care. Assalamu alaikum.